I'm going to share some hard news. Our feelings are the worst indicator for God working in our lives. Welcome back to episode 112 of the What's the Dill podcast, where we answer the most hard-hitting questions about Catholic life. I'm your host, Pete Dill. Thank you, as always, for checking in, watching, listening, however you're consuming this. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for being here. We have some great questions today. We're actually going to dive a little bit deeper into some topics that I've never really talked about. So I'm breaking out my comfort zone a little bit, so I appreciate you going down this journey with me. First one, we got a great question here. It's a classic. I believe in God, but I do not feel him. Question goes, I pray the rosary often, although I've been slacking a little bit. When I pray, it's all about attempting to connect with and know God. I feel like there is something there, but I'm not sure as to what. I used to be a devout and practicing Catholic, but I lost my faith. And I lived as an atheist for years. When I pray, I don't pray for wealth or happiness, etc. I just want direction. I want to be at peace. I want to feel the love of God. I know he is there, but he feels so far away. What should I do? So how are we supposed to follow God if we don't feel God? It's a classic conundrum, but it's a very, very good thing to think and talk about. What do we do about following God? What do we do about this Catholic life if we can't feel him all the time, or if we don't feel like he's present with us? I'm going to share some hard news. Our feelings are the worst indicator for God working in our lives. How humans work, we go up and we go down with our emotions, and when things are good, we're like, yes, life is good because things are going good. My life, my relationships, my work, my school, things are good, so I feel good. When things are down, I'm down. My emotions are down. People treat me bad. I didn't get into the school I wanted. I'm not getting that promotion I wanted. My girlfriend broke up with me. Now I feel bad. Our emotions go up and down with our life. But God is constantly working in our lives, regardless of how we feel about it. God is constantly trying to draw us closer to him. So we have to understand that just because we're not feeling him around us, or just because we feel like things are maybe not where we want them to be, doesn't mean that God isn't there or God isn't working. In fact, he's constantly working behind the scenes. So why does this happen? Why does God do this to us? God sometimes brings down our emotions, distances himself from us, and brings out a little bit of desolation in our lives to reveal something in our own hearts. Okay, so what the heck? God distanced himself from us? Remember, God is always with us. The living God, he is with us. It's not like he's abandoning us. But he gives us moments of desolation where our feelings are shaken up to reveal our own hearts. Because like this person asked, I don't pray for wealth. I don't pray for happiness. I just want direction. Well, God's going to give you direction. I promise you that. He's constantly trying to give us direction. But our hearts aren't always as pure intentioned as we think they are. And this is a hard lesson for me. I am learning this lesson so much. Like, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about our intentions in life. Because we all say, hey, this is a very common phrase. I just want God to show me what to do. I just want direction. I just want God to show me the way, and I'll do it. And that's always the thing. It's like, okay, if God talked to you right now today, told you exactly what you were supposed to do, would you do it? And it's like, oh, absolutely I would do it. Really? What if he was like, you got to move to Uganda? You got to quit your job, move to Uganda, and start a nonprofit for schools. Go. You're like, whoa. Okay, well, do we have like a business plan? I don't have money for a ticket. Can I? Would you just say, oh, yes, of course, fine, you told me what to do? Is it that you don't hear God? Or you're maybe thinking you don't want to do the thing he's asking? Only you can answer that. Something I've learned, and I continue to learn this, our hearts are not always as pure intentioned as we think they are, as we pray to God they are, and as we say they are. For example, we say like, Lord, I just want a house for my family just to kind of have extra space. And Lord, I want to get into this school because I want, good job, I can provide for people. Lord, I want this raise because I, just need more money that I can do good things with for you. I want to get this job because, I think it'd be really good for my career and I can give back. Okay, these are good things. And God will use these things for good in our lives. But we say that in prayer. But sometimes God uses our emotions and uses our emotions and distance himself a little bit from us to reveal in our hearts that maybe we say, I want a house for room for family, which is good. And maybe somewhere deep in my heart, deep in our hearts, we say, well, I want a bigger house than that guy. I want a really nice house because I don't want to be living in the slums. Well, I want to have a house because I want people to say, wow, you bought a house? That's so cool. Wow, you're doing so well. Or I want to get into this school, not because I want to get a good job one day, but because I want people to be, oh, you go to that school? Wow, that's awesome. That's incredible. I want this job because I want a promotion for, because I'll use it for good. I'll do so much good for you. But deep down, I want to know that I make more money than this person. Oh, look at these pores. Oh my gosh, I make so much more money than them. Somewhere deep down in your heart, you might be holding on to feelings like this. You might be holding on to thoughts like this. So God's going to distance himself a little bit from us to try to draw out these impure intentions, to draw out and reveal these things to us. Now, again, I'm not saying that having great, material things in life is bad and that we always have these backhanded intentions. But we can't always see our blind spots. That's why they're a blind spot. Sometimes we're holding on to things so deep in our hearts that we don't even really know that we're holding them back from Jesus. And so God has to draw them out of us. And sometimes he draws them out of us by using feelings of desolation. By us having to get on our hands and knees and say, Lord, where are you? I need you. I need you. Where are you? And then you wake up the next day, you still don't feel him. You're like, Lord, I'm trying to do all the right things. Where are you? I'm feeling like I'm driving myself nuts. Okay, today's the day. Let me get some grace. You go to bed, you wake up the next day, still desolation. Lord, where are you? I need help. Oh my gosh, I need help. Show me what to do. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm trying to find myself what to do. Lord, where are you? Next day, you wake up. Lord, where are you? I'm doing all the right things. Where are you? Lord, I need you. Jesus, I need you. I can't do this on my own, Lord. I can't do this life on my own. And then sometimes when we have that disposition where we just are relying on God, he goes, boom, and gives us a little bit of light to what we need to do, where we need to go, what we need to stop doing. And then you go, oh, wow. I didn't know I needed to work on that. I didn't know I needed to, work on gossip. I didn't know I needed to heal that relationship. I didn't know I was holding on to my future and my career and future earnings so much. I didn't realize that I was holding on to resentment from about people in my life. And it's not until we can get on our hands and knees and realize that we need God, that he can draw out these things in our hearts. And we say, because the point of this life is not that God is with me when I'm accomplishing all these things and he's not with me when I'm doing bad at these things. It's that I can't do this life on my own. I need God. And by drawing closer to God, he's guiding all of my life, work, school, relationships, all these things. So it's sometimes desolation is very, very hard. Feelings and seasons of desolation and not feeling God is very challenging. But what I will say is don't give up. God is there. He's working behind the scenes. And look inside of yourself. Because a lot of time, like, remember, God is God. He's not forgetting about you. He's not too busy for you. A lot of times we hold on to stuff and we don't even know it. We don't reveal it. We try to hide it from God. And in seasons of desolation, looking inward and looking at what we need to work on could oftentimes be the lock to, this is what I needed right now in my life. Okay, next question, a little bit of a doozy, breaking out of my comfort zone in terms of topics and even what to talk about. But I think it's worth talking about because I feel like people out there need to know that people struggle with this. I feel like I can't go to confession. I started self-harming. The problem is I'm not sorry and I'm not going to stop doing it. So I won't be able to go to confession and receive absolution. So now I feel like I can't go to Holy Communion either. I feel so far away from God and so resentful. I can't feel him. What should I do? What struck me about this is this person saying, I'm doing this, I'm struggling with this, and now I can't go to God with it. I'm struggling with this, but I can't go to confession because I don't really know a plan to stop doing this. And now I feel like I can't go to communion, so I feel super distant from God. So I don't know what to do. You know, this idea of like, I'm doing something that I know is wrong, or I want to stop, and I'm having trouble. But I have this struggle, and I can't go to God with it. And so now God feels distant from me because I can't go to confession, because I can't go to communion. We punish ourselves so much. We are brutal to ourselves. The sins keep repeating. We struggle with sins. We hide our sins. We get angry with ourselves for repeated sins and repeated sin cycles. And we get so upset and punish ourselves by turning away from God. Because we know God is a fount of forgiveness. We know God has mercy, but we get so ashamed and angry at ourselves that we punish ourselves more by saying, I'm not worthy of that forgiveness. I'm not even going to try to go to God with it. How can I explain to God that I'm doing this sin, that I'm self-harming? We look at other people's sins and say, like, how could you do that? So I wanted to talk about this because I said, like, I don't struggle with that, but I know people have. I know people who have self-harmed. I am aware of this struggle. And we point to other people and say, wow, those are bad sins. And then our own sins, we keep it inside. And we say, okay, this is my life. This is my sin. I can control this. I'm going to get this sin under control. I'm going to get this shame under control. So I just can't go to God with it. I can't go to my friends with it. I can't bring it up to people. I can't bring it up to my friends. I can't bring it up to these holy people because they're going to judge me so much if I tell them about this secret. But here's the biggest difference between humans and God. Humans, yeah, we fall into judgment. Yeah, we compartmentalize. We say, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing that. But God is always calling you to come closer. Humans, we might need a little space from each other. We might be like, whoa, dude, you really hurt me last week by saying that, by treating me like that. I just need like a little space. Let's go out next week and grab a beer, talk a little bit. Humans need space. Humans need a little bit of time. God doesn't need 1 second of time to give forgiveness. God doesn't need 1 minute of space to give you forgiveness. God's never telling you to get out of the house. Get out of the house. I can't stand you being here. You're doing what? Get out of the house. God never changes the locks on the house. He's never kicking you out. and changing the locks on the house. In fact, he opens every door, he opens every window, he gets out the bullhorn, and is going, Pete Dill, Pete, come on home, Pete, where are you? Come on home. Do you know that show, Outer Banks? John B, come on home, John B. If you don't know, then it's a useless reference. God is always calling us home. So we think, I'm so ashamed of this thing. I can't believe I'm doing this. God must be so angry at me, so ashamed. And so I'm just going to get my stuff and I'm going to go. I'm going to get out of here, God. But God is actually on a bullhorn, putting the spotlight on the house, getting you to come back. Come back home. Don't hide. We'll get this under control. Don't worry. I need you coming back home. And we're sitting there saying, how could you even be this merciful? How could you ever even want me around? I'm not worthy of this. And that's the difference. God thinks we're worthy 10 out of 10 times. Every single day, we are worthy of his forgiveness. He's always trying to purify us. He's always trying to help us sin less. But it will never be through shame and punishment. It's never going to be like, gosh, you should be so sick of yourself for doing that. How could you self-harm? That this time it went too far. I could deal with a little bit of gossip and slander, but self-harm, it has gone too far. No more. You are not getting forgiveness. Forgiveness was okay then. It's not okay now. That's how we sometimes think about God. All the other times, God was fine. But this is one time too far. Too much sin. You sinned one too many times. And so we just punish ourselves. So we just keep on punishing ourselves and not seeking forgiveness and not going home, not talking to God and not praying and not bringing it up and staying in the shadows and staying in the dark and compartmentalizing our life and having our normal life here and then the things we do in secret over here. And we can never connect it to. Anyone found out what I was doing in secret, my life would crumble. My parents, my friends, my family, they cannot find out what I'm doing in secret. It's too shameful. So we say, I gotta get this under control, but I can't even go to God with it. So we keep punishing ourselves. But God is never kicking you out of the house. He's never so upset with you where he needs some time. He's never so upset with you where he needs some space. So don't ever fall into the trap of, I should have known better. Oh gosh, I should have known. I shouldn't be doing this. I should have known better. Because that's pride. Pride says, I'm too holy for this. I'm too good for this. I keep falling into this sin, or I got this secret sin, or I got this shameful sin. I'm too good for this. Humility says, I need help in life. I struggle. I'm broken. I'm Pete Dill. I'm a broken guy. I struggle with sin. I have my own challenges. I need help. I need God. I need God to help me through that stuff. I need God to purify me. So don't ever be ashamed of asking for God's help. Don't ever be ashamed of saying to God, I need help with this. You need to go back home. You need to go to confession. You need to receive communion. You need help. You need help from your friends. You need help from family. Talk to a trusted friend. If you're struggling with a secret sin, if you're struggling with self-harm, talk to one person in your life who you trust more than anyone and just share with them. And just know that it's never too late, it's never too far to turn back to Jesus. The evil one is going to use feelings of shame and feelings of it's too late and this time it's too far to trick you into staying in sin, staying down. You know, And we think like, the classic thing is we think, I'm the only one who struggles with this sin. Think of a sin you struggle with right now. Do you think you're one of the only people, one of your only peers who struggles with it? Probably, yes. You think of that sin, whatever it is. Think of something you do that you're like, oh gosh, I should stop doing that. You probably think, man, I'm like the only person who probably struggles with this. Everyone else is so holy. Newsflash, we're not. You're listening to me, I'm telling you, I'm not holier than you. We need God. We all need God to help us. We all need God to stop these sin cycles. We all need God to get a little better. We all need God in our lives. So to this person who is struggling with self-harm, like, God bless you, praying for you. Bring it to the light with a trusted confidant, family member, and know that it's never too late to turn to God. You can always turn to God, and in fact, you need to turn to God. He's never ashamed of you, so don't be ashamed of yourself. Okay, final question for today. How would you respond to this religion is a mental illness / delusion claim that a lot of people make? I see people say that religious people are delusional, and it's become popular to say that to religious people, us Catholics, and that we should be looked down upon. How would you respond to this claim? First and foremost, this old argument. This old, you're an idiot argument. You're stupid. You follow God, you're stupid. And I gotta be honest, it does sting. I gotta be honest. Hearing that you're stupid, uneducated for following God, yeah, it stings a little. It still stings a little. It's a very simple argument. It's a very first grade argument. Oh, the thing you're doing, that's stupid. Gosh, it hurt in first grade. It hurts at 34, and it's a fail-proof argument. It's really hard to. It's really, in fact, very hard to argue against. Hey, that thing you're doing, it's stupid. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Dang, I have nothing to defend this with. This is a bulletproof argument. Absolutely bulletproof. I have no knowledge to give you to make you think I'm not stupid. Yeah, what about this? What about that? No, still stupid. Gosh. Yeah, all right. It still stings. So, first tactic, I think something to do is like, how do you respond to someone saying that, like, being Catholic is stupid, it's a mental illness, you're delusional? First and foremost, you don't have to respond. This is something I've learned, and I've learned it more and more and more. If someone is trying to get you into an argument or conversation saying, hey, like, what you believe is stupid, it's delusional, it's all fairy tales, it's a mental illness, the reality is, you don't have to respond. God's got them on a different journey at this point in time. If you feel like they're not genuinely curious to hear about your point of view in life, about following God, you don't have to respond. You can just be like, all right, cool, Boom. Hit him back with the all other first grade things. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And move on. You don't have to respond. You don't have to leave a comment. You don't have to get in the comments of a social media post and start, like, defending the faith. Not saying you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. But, like, you don't have to. If you feel like people are saying, oh, like, this is proof to me why, being Catholic isn't a fairy tale. Like, you actually don't have to. God's not being like, yo, dog, get him. Say the things that I told you to say. Do it. I think when I kind of first started some of this stuff, some of this media things online, I felt like maybe compelled to really give like a thoughtful response, with like data and arguments about like following the faith or some questions had. People in the comment section are not looking to change their mind. So you don't have to do it for them. People in the comment section who are angry about the Catholic faith are probably angry about something else. So you don't have to like defend the faith. You can respond always, but know that it is not like part of our faith, one of the precepts of the church, to respond to angry Instagram comments. It's like, go to church, receive the communion, believe in Catholic teachings, respond to nameless, faceless Instagram profiles who are defaming the Catholic Church. Like, you don't have to. So don't feel like it's a need. Now, if you feel compelled, if there's a part of you that is saying, hey, I actually want to know more about the why in our faith, take this as a challenge in private to learn about the faith. Learn about Jesus. Like the arguments against the Catholic faith are all the same. Once you start hearing arguments, it's all the same. Oh, you guys just believe the Pope is infallible. Jesus didn't exist. Y'all prayed to Mary, or the Catholic faith is, what about what God said in the Old Testament versus the New Testament? There's 11 arguments against the Catholic faith. They've all been debunked. They've all have great resources to talk to and speak to. If you feel like you want to know more about your faith and talk about your faith more, you should take it as a challenge. Learn more. Jesus the man. A big argument. Oh, Jesus didn't exist. Well, he did actually. Not only just because I believe it because it was in the Bible, but scholars wrote about him. Josephus, Tacitus, Pliny the Younger, Suetonius, I think I'm saying that wrong, Suetonius, all wrote about him. These were Jewish and Roman scholars who wrote about him. Jesus, the man. And wrote about a man named Jesus. Not about Jesus, the man, living God that we believe, but they wrote about a man named Jesus. If you look at Bible scholars, if you look at all historians, it's actually the common belief that a man named Jesus who lived in, Israel at this time, who started the, Catholic Christian religion, started the Catholic Church in this area at this time, that's believed to be true. Actually, it's a fringe belief. It is a fringe conspiracy to belief to think that a man named Jesus who lived at that time didn't exist. That's historical. That's not a Catholic perspective. That's academic perspective. So then you have a guy in a comment section be like, Jesus didn't even exist. All that person is saying is, I actually don't know anything about the academic side of Jesus. I don't know anything about the historiography of Jesus. So if you feel compelled to talk about the faith more and learn about the faith more, do it. There's so many great resources online and in school. Go look. The Holy See, Catholic Answers, the CFRs, Father Mike Schmitz, Jeff Cavins, who are some other, that Catholic talk show. They talk about good stuff. These are great resources to learn about the academic side of the faith, to learn about the why of our faith. Because we all should know the why to a certain extent. We should have some talking points. We should always be taken back by people's arguments because we got the arguments back to them. In fact, we have 10 million times more arguments than any sort of argument against the faith. And then lastly, I think is tell your story. Never be afraid to tell your story. Don't put a label on something where your story will do. You can give all the academic and historical beliefs of the faith, but telling your story is really powerful too, and inviting someone into your story. That's powerful too. So don't be afraid to tell your story. And that can be challenging sometimes to feel how do I actually articulate what God has done in my life and how he's changed my heart? So think about that too, how you can have a few talking points and articulate your story of God working in your life. And that will do wonders. That will help people's hearts. That will change hearts and minds by telling your story. So great question. Great question, and I feel like it's worth all of us to know a little bit about our faith, to know the why, and then to tell our story to people. So that's going to be it for me today, y'all. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this episode with anyone who would like it. As always, I love you. See you guys soon. Peace.